Good morning, good morning. How is everybody going today? If you're catching this in the live replay, remember I do check all the comments and messages, so if you have a question for me, pop it in and I'll add it into next week's video. Good morning to everybody in the chat. I'm just going to double check that, things are going good. Kim apparently has a super runny nose, so that's great to know. That's awesome, Kim. Grab some tissues. Actually, speaking of tissues, I thought I brought some in, but I've lost them. I've lost them. Good morning, Crochet O'Clock. How is everybody going? What's next week's video? Oh, Crochet O'Clock, next week's video. That will be interesting to know. Kim has a whole box, of tissues. Sorry, it took me a second there. Sorry, Kim. Today I'm going to be chatting, I'll be starting the chat with how I run a lifeline. Hopefully you guys will be able to see. It's not super clear today. I'm just going to see if I can adjust my settings here. My quality is very low there. I'm just going to see if I can bump it up. Just on my monitor, like on the thing I use with monitor. It loaded up with you saying next week's video. Oh, that's all right. No, it was just because I actually realised there's a few words I can say before you guys who catch it live actually see it for the replay people. So I'm utilising that. You'll have to re-watch to see what I said. Crochet Clock's having her tea, so she's not going to be chatting much. Good morning, Andrea. How are you going? I suppose you can all see these big, beautiful buttons here. These buttons are about 4 centimetres. I think about around 4 centimetres, 40 mil wide. And all their photos have been taken. They're going to be going up on the website this week, probably tonight or tomorrow, at the princely sum of 50 cents a piece. So that's very, 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 very expensive. It's very expensive. They're little, oh gosh, what are they made of? They're little wooden buttons. They're very lightweight. And they're just super cute and lots of colours. So they're going to be going up on the website. Rebecca was watching a documentary which she has put on hold. Awesome. Thanks, Rebecca. It's one of those things, isn't it? It's like, okay, I really want to watch this thing, but I can pause that because this other thing is live. I have to remind myself to do that a little bit when I am watching television, and I also have my laptop in my lap. That I'm like, okay, what's on TV I can't re-watch, but I can re-watch what's in my laptop. I think documentaries may be more informative than what's in this live stream. Just, saying. Just to put that out there. Oh dear. This is starting off really well. So the first thing is this morning, there's enough milk for me to have coffee, but there wasn't enough milk for me to have breakfast and leave enough milk for Abby to have breakfast whenever it is that she wakes up. So I had coffee at home and then brought cereal to work because I knew I had milk at work, only for me to remember that Abby and I had made hot chocolates yesterday. So there was enough for me to have my cereal, which I have had, guys. I have had breakfast. And then I went to make myself a coffee and realised there's not quite enough milk. And so, I've got a bad coffee here, guys, and I'm just looking at it going, do I need coffee that badly? And the answer is probably, because I can't even speak, probably. I also have water, just in case, just water. Rebecca's watching a story about ancient history. Kim's saying, no, I learned how to crochet and knit and how to clean my kitchen appliances. I learned how to clean my kitchen appliances. That was the best thing. Do you know the thing I love? Sorry guys, for those of you that haven't seen, we did a live stream on Facebook, was it? I think it was Facebook. And I was talking about how I could not get the trivet bits on the gas stove clean enough. And one of my wonderful viewers Jackie, she said, why don't you just stick it in the dishwasher? And I was just like, okay. So I threw them in the dishwasher. I sort of, just a load for the actual big rectangular pieces and then all the little round bits, and I popped them all in. I couldn't believe how clean everything came out. Considering how bad it was, the actual stainless steel stovetop bit, I'd been able to sort of keep clean. But this trivety bit, I've struggled with so badly. Good morning, Abby. And no, the boys don't have any milk. They just drink water and Gatorade, so I can't really steal their Gatorade for my coffee. So I tossed it in the dishwasher and it was just like, oh. So that might be on the Fiberific Fun Zone on Facebook. So on Fridays, normally we would stream on Fridays over there. I'm just thinking what's happening this Friday. Oh, this Friday I promised Abby we're going to go out. So I may not make this Friday's Fiberific Fun Zone stream at around 12 o'clock. It might be a bit later. So I'll let you know how that goes. So we were talking about all these photos and how they're happening, and those photos have been taken by Miss Abby while she has been working her guts out for me here at Fiberific HQ on the school holidays. There's no rest around here. You know, I let her sleep in. She's on holidays after all, and then I'll go and pick her up, or I'll work at home until she's ready to go. So, you know, you've got to work this stuff out fairly because she is on holidays. You don't want to, like, send her back to school tired. It's not fair. All right, who's ready to see? Oh, Claire says, hi, Mr. Stark was walking the circuit of the front yard for your knee exercise. That is awesome. I don't know why that vibrated. That shouldn't be on vibrate. Let me just double check why. Let me have a look here. No, I did. I've left it on vibrate. Let's kill that. Stopped vibrating now. My phone vibrated, by the way. Claire was walking the circuit for her knee exercise. My knee's a bit angry at the moment because of all the walking I did the other night for the Commonwealth Games, but I put it down to give it a rest, and then today I'm off to the Commonwealth Games again. Vilek walked as well today, a 2-mile walk. Nice. What does 2 miles work out to be in kilometres, guys? Because I know that it's 5 kilometres round trip or 4.5 kilometres round trip to get to the dogs to the dog park and back. The dogs don't like that. They think it's too long. I also agree. I think it's too long. I can work out yards to meters and grams to ounces, but for some reason I can't do kilometers to miles. I don't know why. No, we'll Google it later. I'll Google it later. So, who wants to see how I place a lifeline? And one of the things I wanted to mention briefly was there's been some topic about lifelines and stitch markers and all that hoo-ha. Because I'm just going to move these buttons. I'm truly in the camp of more stitch markers the better. It's about 3.2 Ks. Okay, thanks Allegra. I'm truly in the camp that stitch markers everywhere. Learn to stitch markers, add stitch markers, lifelines. Now I'm going to be placing this lifeline on one of my lace projects. Now you can totally do this on anything. So if you're knitting a jumper or a scarf or anything, you just do the same thing, except, you know, on your stitches. Oreo is back. Hey, Oreo, how you going? Well, we haven't gotten started yet. I'm just, you know, bustling about my opinion. Allegra usually aims for about 5 kilometres when she's out with Annie, but Annie's big. Snowy's a mini Foxy Cross Chihuahua who by the sort of on the way back really wants to be carried. And Georgie is a Shih Tzu Cross Maltese who he actually doesn't care. He just springs around like Tigger from Winnie the Pooh. Snowy's the problem. Okay, so stitch markers, stuff. Use stitch markers, I say. Use small stitch markers, not dangly ones. I'll go more into that. There's another time. But basically what we're going to be doing here is I've got a smooth thread. You don't want something that's gonna get fluffy throughout your project, so you want something smooth. You want it contrasting colour. You want to pop it onto a needle. I always use these needles, but if you've got those nice chibi bent ones, they're really good for this. And I've just got like this little ball mess. It's the end of a ball from it's actually the end of the yarn from my socks project. Now, normally I would probably try and use something a bit thinner for this because it's actually on some lace weight here, and this is a 4-ply. But considering how round it is and how this is actually a fairly thick lace weight, it's not too bad. So I'm just going to pop this needle in there just to get out of the way so it doesn't keep making noise. But what you want to do is you want to thread your yarn, and you want to make sure that the yarn that you've threaded onto is long enough. So if you've got a project that's only this wide, go maybe an inch or two, maybe an inch or 4, I would say, 4 inches extra for each end so that you don't accidentally pull it out, or, you know, pull it too hard. So if you accidentally tug a little bit, it's not going to come out. I mean, admittedly, it's not going to ruin any knitting or anything like that, but it might mean you have to fix the lifeline before you can go back and use the lifeline. And then, as obviously, like for me, I'm doing a crescent shawl that gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So I'm going to need longer and longer pieces. So I actually leave it attached to the ball until I'm at the end, and then I pull it out and cut it off so that I don't run out. Honestly, it's you don't want to be doing that. Good morning, Joss, you sneaky watching at work. Okay, so what you want to be doing, I don't know how good this camera is going to be for close-up work. So let me know if you guys can see. I'm just going to, the needle is just thread. It's nothing fancy, just thread through like normal. And then I'm actually just going to go in under the stitches and just pick up the front leg. And we're just going to do that all the way through. Now I like to pick up sort of 10, 12 stitches or so. The other thing you want to be making sure is that you're not accidentally splitting the stitches. Oops, sorry. And then pull it through. And then do the next 10. And make sure you get your yarn overs. You don't want to miss anything here. Okay, now see how I'm coming up to a stitch marker? I'll pull that through. I'm going to go around the stitch marker. I don't want the stitch marker in my lifeline because the stitch marker won't be able to move on your next row. Now, I know that there was some discussions about that, about how it's faster to use the lockable stitch markers, so that you can just run your lifeline along with your knitting. It saves you this job. But when you've got to move 40 stitch markers off your lifeline and back onto your knitting, I don't actually think you're really saving any time, and you may as well just do it this way. And then it also, you know, it's not a hard job. It is when you're doing it on sideways, because so that you can have it, you know, under a camera. And then we make sure that's all looped in. We go around the stitch marker and just keep going. And that's it. That's how you place a lifeline. And we'll just keep doing that all the way across. You want it to be so if it stretches out, you've got plenty of yarn in there. And that's how you do it. Does your oh, here we go. We've got some comments. I'm just going to scroll back through the comments. 1.6K is a mile. Thank you. Marion says she uses dental floss. Dental floss would really work. That's right. It's a nice smooth round thing. It will not catch your yarn. And thread it through the hole in the needle. See, you can't do that if you've got stitch markers, because if you thread it through the hole in the needle, it will catch your stitch marker as well. Does your cable for the project have a hole in it? I tend to use running yarn through the knitting and add lifelines. That's true. Do you leave your lifeline in until the end of the project? Look, I leave some of them in, I'll try to put in lifelines, but like when I'm changing charts and things like that, and I'll leave it in, but I may just reuse it. I don't always, I don't always. So I don't always leave them into the end. I'll leave them until I'm happy with a section and then move on, but it'll depend. Like, I mean, lifelines are, you know, it's not like they're expensive. You can have 45,000 of them. The hole in the knitting needle. Yeah, so this hole here you're talking about. Oops, I can't see because I've got a box up in front of that camera. Hang on a second, you guys, because I had to scroll through the comments. So you're talking about, there we go, you're talking about this hole here, Marion. So if you have your lifeline through there, when you slip your stitch markers, they're going to be caught as well. So I truly, you know, you can't really do that sort of way. You know, I think the Addies have the little where you push the cable and it opens out a big thing. That's great, and those things are really awesome as long as you're not using stitch markers. The second you're using lock stitch markers, that's no longer useful. Kim says, but then I decided that it wasn't necessarily a bad thing because when I frog back to the lifeline, then the stitch markers are all still there. That's true, but you have to have a real, like, what are you going to do when you add your second lifeline? So, you know, I probably wouldn't do it that way. Andrea says, I'd be so screwed when knitting if I didn't use a lifeline. I make so many mistakes. The wonderful Kim told me about them when I was knitting those socks. Lifelines are fantastic. And, you know, if you're not using stitch markers, they're even easier because you can just pop it through the little holes. But when I'm knitting lace, I'm willing to put in that extra effort because this is a big project. Like, I'm just going to lay this out a little bit. It's a big project. It's got beads. It's got, you know, lace. It's got all the stuff. So you want to make sure that if you do make a mistake, because lots of people make mistakes, like it's not like it's rare for people to make mistakes. Designers pull back all the time. Like when they're working out how to make something and how to get it to sit, they pull back all the time. So if you've got lifelines in, you can just pull back to a lifeline. The other thing is, if you need to pull back and you're working on something and you've realized I don't actually have a lifetime, I don't have a lifeline, you can actually go in and find and actually add a lifeline. You can actually go in and find a row, making sure you're working on the right row, and just pick, like, start from the edge obviously, but pick up the right legs of the V-stitch and you can add in a lifeline later. I find that that's a lot easier to do on square projects than on curved projects because you've got to track where your stitch is. But I do a lifeline at the end of a chart, and if like there's 11 million repeats in a chart, I'll stick in extra. Basically it works out every few inches I'll just toss in a lifeline. And it's, you know, I mean, I don't lay it on a table to do it, so I can just be sitting there watching TV, just popping a lifeline in. When you just get used to doing it, it's actually not that big a deal, but it's a big deal if you have to pull back if you don't have one. Kim says, I can add lifelines if it's not stockinette, but not if it's stockinette but not lace. Yeah, totally. And I'm the same. I really struggle adding afterthought lifelines. If it's not plain netting, I really struggle. And like if you're doing cables or something like that, you want to make sure you get it in like a stockinette row. You don't want to put it in like a cable row. That's a nightmare. But yeah, but you know, if you miss a stitch or two, you can generally hook them with like a stitch marker or something and hold them until you get there. It's not terrible. It's not the end of the world. Unless of course it's like on a yarn over right at the top pinnacle of a like a whole lace triangle or something and it drops down and you're like, I've never done that. No. But yeah, so lifelines are one of those things. I didn't realize they would cause as much discussion as they have in our group, which I thought was just great. Lots of people giving lots of advice, and I think that's just fantastic. And you know, this is just my opinion, guys. Like, that's the other thing. If you want to do it the other way, you totally do it the other way. Like, it is up to you. This is your knitting. These are your projects, and it's your time and how you like to spend your crafting time. It's all on you, guys. It's all on you. So I just give you my opinion. I have lots of opinions. I try not to have as many as I do, but I seriously have lots of opinions. I would have problems replacing stitch markers after ripping back. Well, I mean, normally you can have a look at how have an idea of where you're ripping back to, and you can get an idea of just reading your actual lace stitches. So if you spread it out, like once it's all back and safe on a needle and you've got a pile of stitch markers in your hand and it's a bit daunting, when you're doing your next row of knitting, you can have your chart in front of you and you can be working out, okay, well, it's normally 3 stitches for the lace, 3 stitches for the edge, add a stitch marker. Then it's, you know, and then you may not get them all back in on the next row, but you might get some more back in the row after. So as long as you're getting a few in, and by about 1 or 2 rows, you should have them all back in. Because, you know, especially, not so much if you're doing something that's square, that should be a lot easier to do. But when you're doing these ones that increase out all the time, you will have some unusual, especially around the edges. But once you get your middle, your lace repeats in, these sort of between sort of here and here, so these lace repeats, once you work out where they are, which you can see from the charts, then you can work your edge bits out sort of from row to row until you're happy with them. But it is a little bit of finagling, but I tell you what, it's a lot less finagling than ripping your lace all the way out and starting again, or, you know, risking dropping stuff. But yeah, it's not an easy, like, it's not a perfect solution. And if you really want to, like, if you really, really, really want to, you can grab a handful of, I don't know if I've got any handy. I had 2 in here yesterday. I can see them, they're over there, but it's like a minefield of equipment, so I can't go that way. if you really, really, really think you're going to have to use that lifeline, and you're stressed about your stitch markers, attach the lockable stitch markers to the lifeline after you've laid it, after you've run the lifeline, and you can be just right, go in and, I'll do it here, but you can just go in and say, push that apart and see the grey lifeline there. You can attach a lockable stitch marker there if that's really what you want to do, but I don't bother normally, but it's totally an option. Knitting is sorcery. You all went to Hogwarts, I swear it. No, I'm a crocheter first, totally a crocheter first, and because I made so many mistakes in knitting, I had to learn all the ways to make it so my mistakes didn't make me cry. Oreo says, I almost put a lifeline on this sock, but finally I'm cruising another inch to the heel flap. Excellent work, Oreo. This is your first sock. I'm so proud of you. Keep going. Villex says, I use cut straws for stitch markers. That would totally work, except, mate, do they move? Like if you say you're doing a stitch marker near a yarn over, would they move, like travel past the yarn over? I'm not sure. Joss says she doesn't knit either yet. I didn't think, you talked to Chantel of 7, 8, I don't know, quite a few years ago. It's 8 to 10 years ago. And I was quite happy with crochet. No, you know what? It's about 12 years ago, and I was like, nope, crochet is for me. Crochet is it. I don't want to do anything else. Leave me alone. Then I started learning how to spin, and then I started dyeing fiber for spinning, and then I started having all this extra yarn, and I needed to use it up. And crochet is quick, but it was a bit thick, and I wanted something a bit lighter, so I learned how to knit. Well, I say I learned how to knit. I knew how to knit throwing, and it would take me forever, and compared to crochet it would drive me insane, so I didn't do it very often. And then I was at something, where was I think I was at one of my groups or something or other for craft, and I saw someone continental knitting, and I'm like, what are you doing? What is that? Show me how to do that. And she gave me a quick look, and then I went home and hit YouTube, and the rest is history, as they say. You use cut straws for crochet. Okay, how do you get them undone? Do you just break them, or I don't understand. I'd love to, if you want to post a picture over on the Fiberific Fun Zone so we could have a look, that would be great. I hear about people using cut straws in knitting, but I don't understand how they get it on. Sorry, because I've never actually seen it. So I would love to see that. That would be cool. They are cut to curl. Yeah, pop a photo over at Fiberific Fun Zone. That would be awesome. I'd love to see it. I have a little drink. So are you all happy? Could you all see what I was doing there? Do you want me to do some more for you to see it, or is that okay? Is that all right? I don't know. Let me know if you want to see more of the stitches being put onto the lifeline there. I'm going to have... I'll put some photos up later. All right, so Vilek wants to see some more. So I'll just grab the end of my needle and find where I was up to, which is quite clear. This contrasting thread I choose is actually not that contrasting. I should probably have chosen something a little brighter. So I just keep picking up the stitches. Saves me time later, I suppose. And then just pull that through. Oops, hang on. I'm just going to move that needle I'm poking in the knitting so it doesn't keep rubbing on the table and making noise. Remember, Joss, that there was a time that Tammy was only a crocheter until recently. That's not Into the Night. No, it is not Into the Night. It is Dance Macabre. Another Boo Knits, though. It's one that's been sitting as a whip for quite some time, and I needed to remind myself to do it. So I pulled it out. But I actually haven't, believe it or not, I haven't actually knit any stitches onto it in some time. There we go. That's pop back out again. Get back in the knitting so you're less noisy, you noisy maker. So yeah. So what are you guys all working on at the moment? Joss is at work, pretending to work, we should say, or listening in. But you're messaging, so you're sneaky sneaker. Oh dear. Slip that. bam, bam. Like, I place lifelines in the hope I will never, ever, ever need it. Honestly. I mean, Vilek's working on a shawl. Allegra's at work. Are you at work or at home working, Allegra? I'm not sure if you're actually, you know, what you're doing. Sorry, I just had to think about that. Kim's doing her second Spidey. Claire is working on her Mystery Lace Club project on her beautiful Boo Knits Into the Night. How is that going, Claire? Have you had your win? You got moving again? And when I'm not at work, I'm working on my Sock Madness project. You do Sock Madness every year. It's insane. I love it. Oh, Andrea's too tired to concentrate, so she's just vegging in front of the telly. Allegra is at the office. Tanya is crocheting on her cowl. Rebecca, wondering if I get my project bag back. It got lost in the mail. Oh, no. Elaine is just got back from a walk and now she's doing some loom weaving. And we had a yarn shop open in town this week. I spent more time than I should have speaking with the owner. She's going to have stitch gathering, so I won't have to be jealous of you all anymore. Oh, that's brilliant news. That's excellent news. Joss is working on her Ocean Waves crochet blanket when she's at home, not when she's at the office. And then Kim's too itchy and sniffly to think about her project. I'm sorry, Kim. And Rebecca's working on her mum's slippers. So, guys, how many thumbs ups and things do we have? Just out of curiosity. I have to go out of the screen and it's a mess. Simone is test dying. Totally want to see Simone. Did you want to pop a picture into the Mystery Lace Club? What am I saying? Into the Fiberific Fun Zone. That would be great. Leonie says, I finished a beanie yesterday. I have socks on the go and ready to start a shawl. So we have 8 thumbs up. There's more of 8 of you here though, right? That feels like there's more than 8 of you. Claire says, it took me forever to frog 2 rolls, one with beads. I had one day off to babysit a grandson, so back at it today. Oh, that's fantastic. I'm glad that it didn't stop you. Oh, fantastic, you guys. Thank you for thumbs upping the video. It makes, like, I know it sounds silly, but it totally helps. It really does. You remember last week how we were sorry, I'll move this over, how we were talking about how to make sure you get your notifications and things like that? Well, one of the things is, if people don't engage with the video, and we were talking about how even if you've written all that stuff, like even if you've subscribed and you've clicked the notifications and you've rung the bell to make sure you get everything, there's no guarantee you're going to get your notification. What they do is they send it out to basically you guys who log in every week, right? So you guys will get it. And if you guys are happy and stay and click like and comment like you are now, like doing all the things you guys normally do, then it slowly sends more out and we get a few more people in the chat. And that's great, except I don't know. Like, I got a message 2 days after a video went out saying someone had just gotten their notification that there was a live chat that was 2 days ago. So I don't know how it works. It's so confusing and frustrating. So you guys who jump in at 10 a.m. every day, every Thursday, or 10 a.m. for me, I know it's different times for you all. You guys are awesome. And like, I wish I could thumbs up for all of you. Like, thumbsing up. That looks so backward and wrong to me. Let me try this one. No, it just looks wrong. It's wrong doing thumbs ups to cameras. It just doesn't feel right. Anyway, thumbs up to all of you guys. Oreo is getting some things ready to dye. Simone's got to figure that out. We'll try. Simone, have you joined the Fiberific Fun Zone? I'm not sure if you have. So if you haven't, Kim, would you mind popping a link into the group for the Fiberific Fun Zone so that anyone who's here who hasn't joined? The Fiberific Fun Zone is just a Facebook group where you guys can all post comments and encourage each other, and I, you know, get in and be cheeky like I do. But it means that we can post links, because you can't post links to the chat unless you're actually a mod, and even then you can't actually post a picture. So yeah, they're a little bit sticklerish, and that's all right, because like for us, we're really lucky there's only a few people in here and we can see the chat and it moves. I've been in some where I swear it's a white blur of like, and like there's no way someone could read all that. So, you know, not really, you know, looking for that, because then I wouldn't be able to see what you're saying. There is ways I can slow it down so I can read it, but it would mean like it could be minutes between when you post and when I actually see it. Claire says, I found that when you frog a bead row, you can leave the bead on the stitch underneath as you remove the stitch. I only found that out when I had 6 beads left on the row. Oh no, I'm sorry, Claire. Oh no, that's annoying. Yeah, because you actually place the bead, then knit the stitch with these particular projects. So yeah, you could, anyway, you know now. Hopefully you'll never have to frog another row of beaded lace though, because that's not fun. I'm just, like, seriously, it's therapeutic. Like, you know, this is from me who actually enjoys mattress stitching. There's something therapeutic about placing a lifeline. It's like knowing that if you screw it up, you're fine. You're totally fine. I'm just going to pull a bit more yarn through. Dun, dun, dun. You guys can see this? You guys can see, I hope. And we just place it. Place the lifeline. Around. Oh, did I go around that? Oh, thank God. Automatic processes sometimes is good. Fun zone link. Make sure you right click it. Absolutely. Vilex says, I do not understand thumbs down. I mean, why? I don't get it. When I see a pattern that's not interesting, just leave it and then pick another. I never thumbs down unless it's very offensive. See, some people, like for me, I like to know why someone has thumbs down something. Like, it's totally someone's opinion and that's fine. And in all honesty, YouTube actually just want you to click. They don't care whether it's thumbs up or thumbs down. So I could have like 100 thumbs downs and YouTube would be like, yay, you know. So, you know, they wouldn't actually, not that I want thumbs downs, because I do, I want to know. Like, I was talking about this with Allegra one time, and it's like, I totally want to know why you thumbs down so that I can try to do better. But, you know, at the same time, it's one of those things. But yeah, I don't understand it either. I've actually got some videos with some thumbs downs on them, and I'm like, Crochet Clock says, I get thumbs downs all the time. It used to bother me, but now I'm just like, thanks for the watch time. Yeah, I do that. I think that now too, yeah. Claire says, lifelines from now on. Fantastic, Claire. I'm glad to hear that. I'm just going to make sure I go around the stitch marker. And see, that's the other thing with your stitch markers. You do want them small. You don't want them big danglies getting caught up. So, I'm nearly at the end. Sometimes thumbs down if the information is inaccurate or the style is unhelpful. Yeah, totally. But do you actually tell them that, or do you just thumbs down it, just out of curiosity? I think some people just like to give thumbs downs just to be jerks, because I have videos with no issues at all, no reason at all for the thumbs downs. Yeah, I don't like, some people just thumbs down. Some people do it by accident. I know I've realized, I've gone back to a video and realized, oh crap, I thumbs down that and fixed it. Who'd ever give you a people with opinions, and everyone's allowed to have their own. Yeah, so, but it's one of those things I'd like to know, like if I'm giving out information that's inaccurate or that someone thinks is inaccurate, I totally want to know. So you'd tell me though, Allegra, if you thumbs down one of my videos, you'd totally like pop in a thing saying, hey, I thumbs down your video because, or even don't even say you thumbs down the video, but like, hey, you know, that whatever, blah, 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 this information is inaccurate. Just this morning I got in touch with a colleague who does wine review videos to say that I love the vids but had some feedback about volume balancing. Brilliant. See, that's stuff we love, because sometimes we'll go through and we'll do this stuff, and however, because like if you edit without headphones on or edit with headphones on, oh, did I catch that? Hang on a second. Oh, no, it's good. Allegra says, I've never thumbs down one of your videos. We're really any crafters. Oh, that's cool. I read, like, seriously, guys, I read a lot of comments and stuff in Facebook. And some people are quite harsh about their videos and their YouTube and like, what people put in. And I've been, you know, I was like, oh, you know, they should just shut up and stop talking and just show us what we want to see. And you know, it's just, and you're just like, really? And like, they're literally writing this in this Facebook group, and it's not a private group, it's just a Facebook, I think it's a knitting or crochet, I can't remember which one, but like that, like, and there's a few different groups, and they all have a bit of a at people who make YouTube videos. And I get a bit defensive. I sort of hide and run away. I don't tend to comment, but I read through it all and like try to take it as constructive criticism going forward. And I'm like, but if I stop talking, that would be terrible. Like, I love to talk. And then someone wrote a comment on one of my videos saying, hey, you know, it'd be better if you talked less at the start. And then someone else random, like, I don't know who either of these people, was like, you had the perfect amount of commentary, blah, 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 blah. And you're just sort of sitting there thinking, wow, everyone's opinions are different. It's just one of those things. You're not going to please, I can't even, you can't please all the people all the time. And if you try, you'll please nobody, and you definitely won't please yourself. So I try not to let it get to me too much. Oh dear. But yeah, but like, I don't think they realize that people who make these videos actually are members of these groups, and you're just like, oh. Andrea says, I couldn't thumbs down. I guess that's because I was brought up with it. If you haven't got anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. I just cannot speak. Crochet Clock says, you're very welcome to purchase all the equipment needed and learn to edit so you could put out videos to your own taste. That's so funny. I agree. Totally. I think it's great. But yeah, like, I mean, look, there's been a video or two that I've actually thumbs down, but I wrote why I thumbs down it. But I don't tend to thumbs down very often, you know, on purpose. Oh, sorry. I just pull that away from the camera because, like, I don't think I could show you, but basically, right, I'm sitting here and my knitting is where, I can't even show you because this camera screen's too small. Massive angle. You could please me by streaming for 2 hours. I totally cannot stream for 2 hours. That's something I wanted to tell you guys, is I might have to bunk out a smidge early because we're off to the Commonwealth Games again. So Tim and Abby went to the table tennis on Sunday afternoon, and they had a good time. Abby apparently got a bit bored, and apparently because they were there for a final or a semi-final or something, there was one table going, and it was quite a far away from them, so that was a bit tricky. We went and saw the athletics the other night. If you follow me on the other social medias, you would have seen some cheeky photos that I posted. I find some of the happy joy only groups to be a little creepy. Look, I totally agree, Allegra, and I think everyone should have their opinions, but they got downright nasty in this particular thread, and I was just a bit like, oh, this is not good. Run away. Do not mention that you make videos. You will be attacked. That was definitely the feeling I got. So I'm thinking, I could probably go till exactly 11:30, but I cannot go over today at all, because we've got to be on a train, and I've got I've packed all my parcels already. My husband is using the Karcher and I can't hear. Don't they know it's live chat time? Oh my gosh, that's that's not grounds for a divorce, because actually doing something quite useful, but you know, still. I know you guys want me to go to 2 hours. I do get it. I do understand. And I'm looking at ways to get it in there. I'm planning. I have a schedule. But at the moment, my scheduling is a mess because of reasons that I screwed things up myself. So I have to fix some stuff, and I have to get caught up on a few things. And then I will have a look into increasing this chat. Also, I do struggle to come up with things to say. Like I was watching back some videos and it was like, yeah, totally rambling there. And rambling is fine, but if you're constantly rambling and there's no real information, you know, it's one of them things. Andrew says it's about time he did work around the house, so I'm not complaining. That's cool. I like that. And you're right. Let him work. Pop some headphones in. That'll make it so you can still hear. Sorry guys, I keep pulling that out of that shot, don't I? It's just because I don't have my glasses on and I need it close to my face. We're nearly at the end. And then you can just go on with your knitting. Just push that out of the way. So you know, if you guys want to pop in little comments into the replay thread, like, so if you go after the chat's finished, if you go back into the video, it takes a little while to be uploaded by YouTube. Then maybe pop in. Just maybe pop in some suggestions on some information I could share. Kim says these vids aren't about info, they're social. You're totally right, they're totally social. But it's good for me to have something to start the conversation off with, because otherwise we'd be sitting here like, hi guys, who's in the chat? What are we going to talk about? And I don't feel prepared. I don't feel like I've done anything. And I have to feel like I've done something because it's all about me. I work on my knitting, my glasses come off. Yeah, I normally do, but because of how far away this is, I've got distance, like up close I'm fine, but I've got distance issues. And so it's just getting onto that edge of where the distance stuff starts becoming a bit blurry, because I don't know if you can tell, but I've pretty well got my arms stretched out, you know, to make it to under the camera. Ramble is okay. At least you're live streaming you have people to chat with instead of straight filming where you feel like a doofus talking to the camera that doesn't talk back. Oh, I know that feeling. I know that feeling really well. I've made a few of those. And you do, don't you? Because there's no, like, you crack a joke and you're like, yeah, that was so funny, I'm hilarious. No crickets. And you can tell us what you've been up to and whip wrap up. Speaking of, how's your cardi? Can you stop bringing up the cardi? It's got serious guilt issues happening. I haven't touched it. I totally haven't touched it. I will have to, do you know what? I haven't actually done any, I've done no crochet or any knitting since Crafters the other night. That crochet was the last stuff I've done. I've been madly getting things ready for Mystery Lace Club to go out. I realized this morning that I haven't sent out the email that I send out with the discount codes for the Mystery Lace Club people for their next box. So I have to send that out tonight at some stage. Because there's so many goodies. Like, if you're in the Mystery Lace Club, there's so many little perks and bonuses that that are not just about getting your box. Kim still hasn't warped her loom. I actually don't feel so bad now, Kim, because I know you bought extra things to do that. So, oh man, I'm so close to the end. Oh, I just unthreaded my needle. Oh my gosh, hang on. This is fun. Hey, have you guys seen that video where they do that roly thing to make the yarn go in the needle? Like, I don't know how to do it. And I really want to learn. Like, does it actually work, or is it just like, is it woo? Oh, for a second there I thought it worked. I'm just trying it. I'm just here. I don't know if I can. Nah, look, I'm not gonna. I think this yarn's too thick. Kim Crochet Clock says it doesn't work. It's lies. I think it's total woo. I thought you don't send out the codes until after the box shipped, but you send out what is coming in the box. Okay, so there's 2 emails that go out around, like, so you have the shipping date. Before the shipping date, you get the code that says, hey, you're going to need these needles, or, you know, this stuff, and here's a discount code just in case you need to buy this stuff, and we'll put it in your box so you get free postage. And then after the boxes have gone out, about 10 days after, or maybe not even that far now that I'm a bit more used to it, I send out another email with the new monthly link to the special secret page on my website where you can get second doses of the yarn if you want it to get placed into your next box. It's a little like thing. There's this email, then the box, and then this email, and then the next box. So yeah. Ora says you can always start with what's new in crafting and new in fibers, and then you will have prepared. I do try to look into that, and I research stuff, and I sort of look through our group as well to see what we've been talking about and try and think of what people would like to hear about. But yeah, I don't actually always keep up with what's totally like super new, except for like with my suppliers, because I just don't have that much time. I haven't been watching any of my Twitch channels. I'm so sad. but I will try. That's a really good suggestion, Oreo. Kim says, I saw it. I think you need a biggish eye though. Crochet Clock says it splits the heck out of my yarn. So, that's, yeah, this is that crazy. I'm going to practice it. I got to make it work because I see people doing it all the time. And I'm just like, or at least, no. I don't see real life people doing it. I see people online doing it and I don't know if they're faking it until they're making it. Kim says, I do the fold the yarn thread over the needle, then hold it tight and then wiggle the eye over the fold. Yeah, that's what I do. I do the same thing. I just find it's easier to get it in without splitting your thread. Oh, sorry, I'll push it over. Look, we're at the we're nearly at the end. We're nearly at the end. I said that before, didn't I? But this time we're really, really nearly at the end. I've got no more stitch markers. It looks like though, like looking at where I'm up to, it looks like I'm about to have to add in some extra stitch markers. Bim, 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 bim. Look, there's only this many stitches left to go. Dun, 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 dun. You guys having fun? I hope you're having fun watching me and listening to me make stupid noises. It's fake. I've tried it oodles of times. I think it's more for thread than yarn. And folks love to say that online friends don't exist. Do you know what? I think that's the worst. I truly think my online friends are real, and they feel real to me. And even sometimes I feel like I have better interactions because you have to think about what you're writing. You have to communicate rather than, I don't know. Not saying that my in real life friends aren't real, just that my internet friends are just as real. That's how I feel. I think that they're just real people and they might want to hide their identities for their own personal security, and that's their choice. It's not like I'm, trying to get married on the internet. Oh, I just kicked the camera. Did I ruin anything? I did not. Good. Kim says she's real. Kim's real. She's a real person. Chantel is my friend. No one is going to tell me different. See, I'm the same. I totally agree with you. Allegra says, I find it very condescending to hear my online communities have seen more of me through some really tough times. And that's exactly it, isn't it? Because we feel that, like, when we're talking to people in real life, I don't know, I feel like they're quicker to judge and they're quicker to it's just platitudes. Whereas, and that's not all in all cases, whereas I find that when, and that's like if you're in a group of people, like not a one-on-one good friend or something like that. I'm not talking about that. That's a whole different thing. But when you're in an online community like you guys, where I'll talk about something and I'll feel confident talking about it or messaging about it or something like that, and you guys respond and give suggestions, and hello, you helped me clean my oven, which is like, seriously, if someone wasn't a good mate, then that wouldn't have happened. Who helps someone clean an oven? Not an oven, a stove. Rebecca says, I don't have friends living close by, just you guys and maybe a couple of others. See, that's the thing. We live in such a world now where we're all knitters and crocheters and yarn crafters, and while online we're huge, in real life we can be spaced out a little bit. We can be, geographically challenged. So it's great that we can have this. Crochet Clock says, my Crochet Clock crowd is like my family. They are my people, they're my tribe. I feel the exact same way about you guys. You're totally my community of good people that I can talk to about things I love. And even things I don't love, like knitting needles that aren't pointy. Yeah, it's I don't know, like I agree, Allegra, and I agree, Crochet Clock. Andrea says, I've met some beautiful people online and I consider some family. Allegra says, most of my close friends don't live near me. And that's the thing. And that's like, even like I've got close friends, like close in real life, meet up friends that don't live in the same state as me, and and I have to make a really big effort to go and visit. And it's hard because you can't always take the time you need or have the money to do it. But because of like internet conversations and video chatting and instant messaging and all that sort of stuff. Sorry, I'm just going to pause this thought. Andrea, answer your mum and tell her you can't talk because you're listening to Chantel, and where is she? So just point that in. We've missed her. Shirley hasn't been in. You can berate her from me. but yeah, so, you know, with digital chatting and instant messaging, and it honestly feels like you've got a mate sitting next to you pretty much at all time if your phone's handy. You could be like, oh man, I just watched this hilarious video, and share, and off it goes to your best mate who's like giggling about it as well. Kim says, depending on the person, when you respond online, you have the opportunity to edit your response until it means what you want it to, rather than blurting out a response. Tanya says, all my good friends have moved away, and the older I get, the harder it seems to meet new people in person. And see, that's the thing. That is totally the thing. I know, like the other day, here's an example. The other day I said something to Abby, and it really hurt her feelings. And then when I thought back, it came out totally wrong. It wasn't what I intended. And she was really upset, and she had every right to be really upset, because it could totally have been taken in a negative way, and I hadn't meant it to be. And it was one of those instances where I thought I was being funny, totally wasn't. And if it was like something that you had written down, you could look at it and go, oh no, fix that. Whereas because I'd said it to her face, I can't take it back. All I could do was apologize and try and make it better. But it's hard. But then in saying that, some people like message and message and message, and they don't always filter themselves. I may actually be guilty of that also. I may not filter my online messages either. I may not filter anything ever. No filters here. Yes, chastise away, Kim. Chastise away. Look at this. We're like 6 stitches from the end. And I put it down again. I'm going to finish this, guys. This is going to get done. It's getting done. Bam. Finished. Thread off. Put the needle over here so I don't get it. The other day when I was looking for a needle, it had actually, because I've got some magnetic spots on this laptop, and it was like stuck to the side of the laptop. I couldn't find it anyway. So then what you want to do is just make sure that there's enough thread, and just pull it so that it comes out of the ball, so that you've got enough. Now when you knit the next row, you just got to be cautious to not accidentally knit your lifeline. But then I just trim that off. I have to pull this out. Like, I'll bring it up here. So you trim it off about like, what's that? About 20 centimeters. You want to make sure you've got a good bit of room. You're better off having way more than you need than, I'm going to put this back in the camera because, you guys, that was the only craft I brought for today, was that. And it's done. Crochet Clock says she's guilty of that as well. Yeah. Kim says some people are quick to take offense at what has been said or written. That totally, and like this is the thing with dealing with humans, isn't it? Even when it's not actually directed at them. I agree totally. Good morning, Pam. How are you going? We're having a little discussion about online friends, and that they are real. Online friends are real, and that that we're talking about how sometimes when we don't edit ourselves in real life, it's hard, but some of us don't edit ourselves online either. So that's a quick where we're up to. Anyone else can anyone else say, where we're up to? Oh, hey Shah, how are you? Welcome to the chat. Guys, this is Shah. She comes into the shop. Love safety lines and use them all the time when doing lace or very complicated cable. Leave the ends very long. Yeah, you want them like dangling and getting in the way. Claire says, I met you at the craft show in 2016 and felt a connection with you with your bubbly way. So when I found you on YouTube, it was like finding an old friend. Oh, that's awesome. I remember meeting you, Claire. You'd seen something on Facebook, I think, and came down that day. Is that right? Kim says, I got told off for not saying please and suggesting bonus points for further info when I asked someone for some information in a Facebook group, even though the person I was asking was a good friend and couldn't talk to her in person and could talk to her in person exactly the same. And I bet, was it that same person that had commented, or was it someone else commenting sort of on her behalf? Because that would be interesting. But yeah, it's interesting the dynamic that people have. Like, there's a difference between our online friends versus people in an online community that we are not actually friends with, if that makes sense. So I feel that in our Fiberific fun zone, I think that we're pretty much all friends or becoming friends. Whereas in some Facebook groups and other online communities, like even some rivalry wars, although it's quite the same there, it's a bit different. People tend to be more quick to judge and less. They're more hasty. They want to get their opinion in. They want their things said. Someone else. Oh, Kim said someone else had taken offence that you hadn't said please. See, like that's the thing, isn't it? Oh, Claire, you found the stall. No, there was another lady who. Gabrielle. Sorry, Claire, I had you a little bit mixed up with Gabrielle. But yes, I'm so glad that you found the stall. I actually haven't done that show I think I did one at the beginning of 2017 and then I haven't done one since. So, because I've been doing this instead, doing all these things. Oh. Someone else took offense that I hadn't said please and that I would talk to her that way. Yeah, it's like we're humans and everyone's different. And it's really, really, really tricky. It's a minefield. I'm trying to navigate this minefield with my words. I'm failing. I'm going to have a leg blown off in a minute. But yeah, it's one of those things where there's a difference between a close community and just a group. Does that make sense? And like, seriously, if one of you, like if in the Fiberific Fun Zone, someone said, hey, bonus points for this, or, you know, someone else would just laugh and go, yeah, I want that too. Whereas, like, I can't imagine any of you going, oh my God, you didn't say please to Chantal. Oh. Pam says chat's great. I'm learning lots thanks to yeah, we all, we go off on tangents. I'm going to have to change the title. Oh, one thing. I just remembered because it's in the title and the title just flashed into my brain. You guys, I've got international shipping on my website as standard now. So for those of you who are not in Australia, that have always had to sort of go, hey, Chantal, I want to order this. Can you send me a PayPal invoice? Now you can just log in like everybody else and pick all of the things except Marge Craft spinning wheels. I cannot sell them to you. And then I can't sell them to anyone outside of Australia. It's a deal. It's part of the dealership contract. So but you can order anything else and you can just pay it through normal. All the shipping is calculated. If you have any glitches or any problems, email me. It's new, so I'm just hoping it doesn't fall down and break. But I've noticed some little orders coming through and they're working and they're not overcharging the shipping yet. Because I've been flat rate shipping for Australia for so long, some of the new stuff doesn't have its proper weights on. So if you get a shipping quote that you're like, that's quite high, send me a message. It might be a little glitch on my end and I can double check it for you. But shipping to outside of Australia isn't the cheapest, but it's not like, $100 or anything silly like that either. Well, it could be if you bought like 20 kilos worth of stuff. I don't know. Crochet says, I feel like I have to censor myself all the time on my channel. I tiptoe in most Facebook groups that aren't my own because my folks know I'm nuts, but other people, no way, with a halo on. I don't know. I think I try to have like I have an online version of myself. So there is obviously another side of Chantal Hills who lays in bed and does nothing and like gets upset and gets frustrated and cries and all human emotions happen. But then there is my my online persona, which doesn't how do I describe this? It doesn't vary much from real life. It's just none of the life of negatives. I try not to put the negatives here because we all have our own negatives. You don't need mine, except for knee surgery. I share that and the woes of physio because that's funny. But yeah, Kim, how do you do that wrench thing? I gave Kim moderator rights. That's how she gets a wrench. So she comes in every week and makes sure that you guys aren't naughty and blocks out any people who write rude comments or trolls or anything like that. So she has to do a job. She has to work for her spanner. But yeah, so I try to have a filtered version of myself, and because I use it so often, because I'm using my sort of persona more often, it's easier to maintain, and so it doesn't, I'm not like turning it off and turning it on and turning it off and turning it on. And I don't swear in my YouTube videos just very often, just because I just don't, whereas in real life I swear a lot. I don't know, I want to make sure that if kids are watching this and want to learn how to crochet or something, that they're not getting, you know, like me all the time. And it's not anything to do with YouTube or anything like that. It's just a personal thing in how I like to teach. Do you cop bad language for these lives, chaps? I got horrible responses on Periscope. Yeah, look, not so much here on YouTube, because YouTube are really slack in sending out notifications, Simone. Like really slack. So basically only the people that are subscribed get notified. Whereas on Periscope and on Instagram, you can actually just see who's live now and click that. So you can get a lot more of it. And I don't know if I don't think I can give anyone sort of mod powers on Instagram. That would be nice. Or on Facebook Live. Facebook Live's really trying to pick its game up. I've noticed you can actually use OBS now for Facebook Live. But yeah, so they're really picking up their game. But yeah, it's just one of those things. I'm just trying to scroll the wrong screen. Let's have a look here. So I need to cancel that and open this. Okay, I just need to scroll back a little bit, you guys. I've missed a bit. Shah says professional business self is how you refer to me. Yeah, that's a difference, isn't it? Whereas I do try to be personal and personable and fun, just not as emotional. Does that make sense? I really do just try to keep the negative out. That's it. Oreo's got to run. There's farm animals hollering. Rebecca's a good girl. You guys don't have to be good girls and boys. It doesn't matter at all. Yeah, the spanner is it's one of those things you've got to work hard for. Kim says we haven't had too many issues here. There've only been 2 occasions where she can recall where someone we didn't know was jumping in. Pam says it's surprised at the need to censor. Look, it's just because I naturally swear a lot, like a lot. Like if you guys have met me in real life, it probably slips out. Kim has heard me swear a lot because I've been working on stuff. Abby was filming a little behind the scenes the other day. I didn't know she was doing it, and then I've turned around because I hear, Mum, no swearing in the behind the scenes, and I turn around and she's got a camera on me. I'm like, I wasn't expecting that. Simone says, can you block them? Yeah, Kim and I can totally block them. We can time out people. So if someone's being really naughty or just inappropriate or whatever, we can just time them out. They can still see, but they, might have to wait a minute before they chat again. Or some people can totally be blocked and not allowed to chat at all. Not Kim. Crochet says there's some really uptight people in our community. It's easy to offend, and that isn't something I want to do. That's right. There's a really broad range of people who knit and crochet, and I love. There's a group on Facebook called Mofa's Mildly Offensive Fiber Arts, and I love it because it's totally not censored, and there's some amazing and interesting stuff that flows through it. But if bad language stresses you out or anything like that, then that's not the place for you at all. But like, it doesn't bother me, so I find it fun. How unfortunate to need this. Yeah, it's all right. In every Crochet Clock says, in everyday life I use the F word like a comma. It's work when I film, so I try not to swear. Shah says I'm a bad girl for that too. I should carry a cake of soap with me. Like, that's the thing, isn't it? We've all got our things, and we all filter for different occasions. Like, you have that circle of friends that you don't take your knitting to because you're either going to be called rude for not listening, or like you're not being attentive because you're focusing on what you're doing, or don't you like it here because you're not focusing on what you're doing. And then you've got your other circles of friends. They don't care. They know that you can still listen and talk and do everything and knit and crochet because your brain actually focuses better. Well, my brain focuses better when I'm working on something with my hands. So, but you always have those, like, it's like the Venn diagrams of our lives. We've got little overlapping spots, but there's lots of areas where we have to sort of, like, you don't talk about, like, I've got groups I don't talk about politics with because my politics are totally the opposite to theirs, and I don't want to have an argument about that. So, it's one of those things, like, I don't want to argue about it. We differ. We have difference of opinions. You're not going to sway me. I'm not going to sway you. Why have a fight over it. And so it's like, so I've got like the circle of mates that I don't talk about politics with. I've got a circle of mates that I don't do yarn craft with. And then I've got mates that I can do everything with because we have great banter and everything's fine. So, you know, and you can't always do everything we want to do with all the people. Simone says, it's hard for your voice to carry on for 2 hours too. It is hard, but I have prepared myself. I have beverages, and I do this every now and again. Silence. No, it doesn't happen very often, honestly. I just have a little sip. I've got to try this coffee again, you guys, because when it was really hot, it was so bad. And so now that it's a bit cold, it might be a bit less bad. Let's see. It's still not great. Don't you hate it when you make yourself a bad coffee? I hate making bad coffee so much. I'm still going to drink it because it's the only coffee I've got, and I'm out of milk. There's no more milk. I'll get milk on the way home. Like, there's no issues. We're going to totally get milk today, but there's no coffee now. Being cold seldom makes bad coffee better. I know, but it's not totally cold. It's just when I first had it, it was really hot, like too hot. We should do an evening chat with alcoholic beverages. You guys, I'm planning something. I'm a part of a particular group that we have a private meeting on Zoom where we all have our own video and our own cameras, and it's like we're sitting around a table all talking together. We have our craft, we have wine. I normally have gin, but you know, and you can totally do it, but it's totally private and it's invite only. So I'm looking at setting something up for us. So we'll see how it goes. I've got to work it into the schedule because you don't want to earmark, okay, we can have 45 minutes for this, because that would be boring. Virtual knit nights are great. Yes, they are, Allegra. They're so much fun. And sometimes you can't get out. You've got kids. You've got things that you have to do, but you still want to just do this stuff. Shah says, want some milk, I can do a rescue for you. Shah, I need to talk to you because I have this funny feeling that you're coming in today, and no, we haven't worked out a day. Good, because I'm not going to be here shortly. No, I don't need a milk run, but thank you, because after the live chat, I'm off to the Commonwealth Games. So excited. We're going to see rhythmic gymnastics. I didn't think I'd enjoy the athletics as much as I did. It was really dynamic. Like, they had so much going on, and we were up quite high. There were quite a few stairs. My knee wasn't very happy. But it's one of those things where, because we were so high, we had shelter, which we were like, because it rained, it bucketed. And so because of that, we were like, oh, these aren't bad seats after all. But you could also see all of the different events. You could see everything. You weren't kind of like trying to see over something to see to the next thing. We were looking down on everything. It was fantastic. Rebecca says, I've been to a knitting group where bottles of wine were there. We've had wine at our caffeinated crafters. Was it for Christmas? I think I got us wine. That was cool. But we had to be very careful because we all have to drive home. We could have like one glass or two glasses. Kim says, we do craft, I can't even speak, craft weekend retreats. And there's lots of alcohol. Kim says, is there gymnastics on today? Yes, there is. Well, there better be. We've got tickets to it this afternoon. Kim says, I wanted to catch some of the male gymnastics so you could show Maddie. There's still so many tickets around, Kim. I would check. You probably could take him. That sounds amazing, Kim's. What ones do you go to? Allegra and Kim. Kim's craft things are just insane. They look fantastic. I'm like, I want to go, but I can't. Shah says, no days or dates yet, waiting until after the games. Oh, thank you, Shah. Thank you. For a second there, I thought I'd messed something up. I was like, oh no. Allegra, I'm holding out for Bendigo. There's usually quite a boozy night. Yeah, Bendigo is boozy for me as well. We make mulled wine a la Penelope. I make that every year now. Ever since I had it with you guys, Allegra, I actually contacted Penelope and got her recipe, and I make it for our household every year because we love it so much. It's just perfect. Pam wants to know if anyone's going to the Bornhofen retreat. So for those of you that don't know, Bornhofen is the Gold Coast Spinners annual camp that they have. It's fantastic. It's a bit crazy. It's a bit different than the retreat you guys are talking about. So this will have more like 80 to 100 people. Oh, excuse me, I've got a bit of a frog going on. Bit of 80 to 100 people, tons of workshops, stalls. It's right in the hinterland. Sometimes they'll do a night tour down to the glowworm caves. Lots of stuff. It's heaps of fun. If you can get there, I think it's a bit late to book in now, but if you want to go for next year, it's really cool. And so yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm actually seriously contemplating hitting the Ipswich camp. They didn't have one last year, and I got an email saying that they're having one this year. So so they're going. So I haven't. It's in May. It's the end of May, and that's the beginning of a really busy time for me. So it's either like a great time for me to get away for a weekend and just do crafty stuff for myself to sort of regenerate, or it's like kills a weekend where I could be working my guts out for Bendigo and Redlands Open Day. So it's tough. It's tough. You guys are talking too fast. Hang on a second. I have to scroll back. I'm happy you're talking fast. Honestly, I think it's great. It's so good. Yeah, mulled wine is totally awesome. It's totally awesome. Simone's going to be at Bendigo, so you guys make sure you all visit Simone. Simone, pop in your business name. I can't think of it off the top of my head. Is it Gum Blossom Yarns? Simone does the most beautiful hand-dyed yarns using natural botanicals. You guys have got to go check it out, honestly. Kim, if you can maybe have a look up and find a link for Simone and pop her in, that would be great. Like, find a link of Simone's stuff to pop in to the chat. Do you know what I'm talking? I have no idea what I'm talking about. Rebecca's a whiskey girl. I like whiskey. Whiskey is yummy. I especially have been getting into something which is not technically whiskey. It's Dubliner. It's a honeycomb whiskey. So smooth. There's a problem with that. You drink lots of it. It's so tasty. You can drink it all night and then not feel good the next day because you drank lots. But it's very, very good. Crochet O'Clock is working on a crochet retreat. So if you guys are local to Crochet O'Clock, you guys better go and follow her and find out about that, because that sounds fantastic. Elaine says, I haven't had a drink in 3 years, pregnancy and little ones. Gosh, yes, that was awkward. You just can't. It's just a decision you have to make, isn't it? But yeah, they'll grow up. They'll grow up. Abby did. Then you'll need it. No, you may not need it, but you know what I mean. No, we're going to see rhythmic gymnastics today, not artistic. Looking at the schedule, there's no artistic gymnastics today. No, rhythmic gymnastics semi-finals or finals. I think it's semi-finals. Or just no medal stuff. No, it's not medals today. It's not medals. I don't know what all that means. Okay, so Kim, if you go hunting for gum blossom yarns, I'm tempted just to jump in and see if I can do it. Open a tab. Open a Google Chrome tab. Hope we don't crash, guys. I'm in Google Chrome. Gum blossom yarn. Oh, hell, I can't type yarn apparently. Gumblossoምyarns.com. There we go. Control C. And I've got a link. I go to the chat. Control V. Bam. I hope we're still live. I'll close this window so everything's still working. Everything's still working? Yeah, we're good. It still worked. Simone, I really hope that we put the right links up because we've linked hard. Andrea, you missed me tentatively entering Chrome while I was online, because I try not to get this laptop to do a single thing more than it has to while it's doing a live stream, just in case it crashes. You missed so much, Andrea. I don't know how long you've been gone for. You'll have to re-watch the replay once it's up. But yeah, so what was I saying? Gum Blossom Yarn. So Simone does this beautiful, beautiful botanical dyeing. Like, it's gorgeous. You just got to go and check it out. And also, if you follow her on Instagram, she goes live a lot, showing you like her processes and bubbling pots and witchcraft. It's wonderful, like yarn dyeing witchcraft, not love potions. Just to be clear. Do you know what? I'm actually quite cold, because to get the air conditioning in here, is that a Stash resource link? It totally is. It's Gum Blossom Yarns. You have to go and check her out. Is she on Etsy? I don't know. Are you on Etsy? Are you still here, Simone? I'm not sure if she's on Etsy, but she's got her own web store, so maybe not. or it could be a link through to Etsy. I don't know. I didn't stick around long enough to double check because I wanted to close it before the computer crashed. But yeah, I don't know if she's still around. So Shah, pop in a little comment about, not Shah, what am I saying? Simone, pop in a little comment about what your business is. Pam says she is on Etsy. There you go. But yeah, I'm like starting to get like, fidgety because I'm cold, because I've got the office set like 18 degrees because otherwise it gets really hot in here. There's no in between. So you have to set it to 18 degrees out in the office area because otherwise it shuts off the sensor when it hits like 20, and this room doesn't cool down as fast. But it also, when it does get cold, it gets really cold. There's like no in between, and now I'm cold and it's drinking less than stellar coffee. Tasty. No, very much not. Very much not. So I've got my spinning wheel here. Someone is trying to ring me right now. I'm ignoring it. I'm sorry if you're trying to ring me, but I cannot answer calls while I am on a live stream because that is weird. Hi. Do you know what, you guys? I got a telemarketer on my mobile. I don't normally get that. Do you brew your own coffee? Yes, I do. It's totally my own fault. It's rubbish. Totally my own fault. Yeah. I did. I made it myself. And it's just terrible. I didn't have enough milk. That's what the problem is. I just spit everywhere. Sorry, guys. But yeah. But you answer my messages. I do answer your messages because it could be something pertinent to... Because what if I've like said something and you're like, actually, Chantel, this is the real thing. And you're like, it's different. That was a rando. I didn't know who that was. If it was someone important, I might do something. Pam, at home I have beans. At the office I have pods. Ugh. But they're better than instant. So they're not too bad, actually. They're Lavazza pods, so they're not the worst pods in the world. And they're normally fine. But today, not fine because I made the coffee just bad. I didn't put enough milk in. I put too much hot water in because I was trying to balance out the fact that I didn't have enough milk for a proper coffee. I failed very badly. I'm going to drink it all though. I can't let it go to waste. Sorry, you lost your live chat. Thanks for the web link. Yeah, so Simone is back, you guys. So Simone, do you have an Etsy store? We're not, someone asked, so you just want to double check. And are the links correct? Because we also want to double check that we set the right links. You guys don't forget to right click on the link so you don't go away from the live chat. Because I want you to stay for the whole time, you guys. Minutes, watch minutes. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, so make sure you go and have a look. So Simone, you probably didn't hear me ask, but I just wanted, if you could pop in just a little, like a quickie little blurb about what kind of dyeing you do. I don't know the best way to describe it, and I'm sure you do because it's how you dye your yarn. Good morning, Gamer Widows. How are you? We are only going to go for another 12 minutes, you guys, because I absolutely have to run on time. Otherwise, I'll be late for the Commonwealth Games, and I don't want to be late because I get stressed out if I'm late because I'm that kind of person. I'd rather be 2 hours early than 10 minutes late if I can, Simone, love lifelines. Anyone who doesn't have to frog lace is not real. That's true. Everyone's had to frog lace at some stage in their life, and even that's what I was saying actually earlier was that people have had to frog lace, and they have to and they totally, designers frog their own lace. So lifelines, guys, lifelines, we need them. Gamer says, oh, she slept in. Oh man, I'm glad you got a good night. So I hope it was a good night's sleep. So sometimes we do just need to sleep in. I slept in, not yesterday, but the day before. I think I slept till like 8:30, which doesn't sound like a huge sleep in, but when you're normally up at 6:30, that's decent, I reckon. I'm not going to complain. It was cool. I'm not counting. I was just trying to work out what I wasn't counting, but I'm not counting my watch minutes. I'm totally counting the watch minutes, you guys. I look at it every month and I make sure that we're over 20,000 watch minutes every month. because that means we will not lose our monetization on the website, on the YouTube channel, which means that we still get to keep all the good stuff and all the little being able to live stream and do all that sort of stuff. Kim says lace knitting is easy. Fixing the mistakes in lace, not so much. There's actually there's a really, really amazing craftsy class that Laura Nelkin has done specifically about fixing your mistakes in knitting, and it's fantastic. Like, if you only buy one craftsy class, go and get that one. It's so, so good. I've used the techniques I've learned in it to fix cable mistakes, to fix lace mistakes. It's fiddly. It's seriously fiddly, but it's less fiddly than ripping back however many rows. Crochet Clock says watch time is no joke. Watch time is her life now. Yeah, I know. It's sad, isn't it? It's totally sad. We've got to like look at this stuff, but you know, I'll be honest, you guys, we do. We're fine. We go over it. I was concerned last month because I had to take, like, I didn't live stream one week, and I'm like, oh my god, 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 are we going to make it? But we made it. We hit 20,000. So luckily we did. So I don't have to worry. But yeah, as long as we get 20,000 minutes per month, which you guys can't even see, so it doesn't even matter. Just keep watching my stuff. Like, you know, if I don't have a live stream one week, just put an old one on in the background and go off and do something else. Like, that's not cheating, is it? Oh, yes. Totally cheating. It's totally cheating. But yeah, it's one of those, it's like the back end of business. No one wants to talk about tax because tax is horrible and boring, but we all have to do it. So, and it's the same as YouTubers and people who make videos and online content. No one wants to talk about the back end and what we have to do to make things keep running, but we have to do it. So, and that's why every now and again I'll do a little video that'll be like, hey, don't forget to, you know, do this and this, and like last week at the beginning, how we talked about making sure that you guys and myself for the other channels that I watch do our best to make sure that we get our notifications, because YouTube changed how they do it, but it also means that if you follow that link to the video and then watch the video, that actually helps. Like, it's so weird, but it totally helps. And Game and Widow says, that reminds me, I need to do my best. Yeah, I got to do mine too. Don't want to. Kim was actually referring to the minutes I have till I'm logging off. I know, I am watching those minutes too, because I promised Tim and Abby that I would not be late today. And then after I log off, I've got to do like shut down here, like there's lights and everything that has to get sort of done and tidied, and you know. But I packed all the orders this morning, so if you put an order in late today, I'm sorry, it's not going to go out until tomorrow. But yeah, so I'm so excited about the new postage on my website. Speaking of orders, I'm sorry guys, I'm totally sorry. Sidetrack. But like, excuse me, the new thing with the international shipping has also meant, like, because we had a discussion about that, I won't harp on, but it also means that for those in Australia, if they want to opt for express shipping, they can do that too now. And I think it's, oh, excuse me, and I'm just so excited by it, because it was something, when I first built my website, it was something that I had, and I didn't have the international because it was still painful, and I honestly didn't think anyone would be interested. It's that whole, you know, thing in my brain again. We'll move on. And so I had it going and it worked and it was great, but then then something happened with the app and the app, but it didn't connect up, and it wasn't being updated when Australia Post increased the prices, so I had to turn it off. And so I was doing it manually, and I looked around for a while for another plugin, and I couldn't find one. And then just this weekend gone, I was chatting with another yarn dyer, and she was like, well, I use this one, and I'm like, does it work? And she's like, it works great. And it was a new one from when I was looking, because I kind of given up. Like, I hadn't been looking around, and I felt a bit guilty about it when she pointed out it had obviously been around for like a good 2 years with really good reviews and regular updates and stuff like that. And I was just like, are you kidding me? I could be having this all of this time, and I didn't, because I'd given up and stopped looking and started focusing on other things. So now it's in. Now you can You can have express post if you're in Australia. You can choose whether or not you want track shipping or non-track shipping internationally. And it's just great. It's so good. I'm still adjusting on my end because I have to fill out different forms for different things if it's got to go through customs. But yeah, I'm really excited. Hey, how's it going, Kirby? Welcome to the chat. But yeah, so I don't know. It's like I'm excited and it's big for me, but it's like, yeah, for you guys. Yeah. Unless you're international, then that's cool because it means you can just order off my website. Oh, look, I'm being reminded that I have to eat lunch. I am so scared of Kim and her spanner. I know, she just waves that thing around wildly. No, I actually really appreciate having Kim in my as my moderator in these chats because she's just on top of stuff for me. And it means that, like, because I'm here, I'm monitoring 2 cameras, I'm monitoring audio, making sure the stream works, watching the chat, sometimes doing craft at the same time. And it just means that I don't have to stress so much about this stuff. And I feel guilty asking for Kim to put links and stuff in, but I also know that she'll do it normally. So if she can, sometimes she's listening from her car in my car park and I don't know. So, you know, but no, having a moderator, or having a couple of moderators for your groups is, especially when you have live content, is really important. And that's what, see, Kim, you've terrified everybody. You're waving your spanner around. No, we're pretty, like, it's basically, she's really just super helpful for putting links and stuff in. And then, but also, like, as she said before, we don't really have that many naughty people pop in, but every now and again we do, and just knowing that there's someone else there to keep an eye on it, because as I said, I try not to do too much with this laptop just in case it crashes and burns. So thank you, Kim, for being an awesome moderator and looking after us all and protecting us all from spammy McSpam bots, and for being our linky lady and putting all our links up when we need them. So that's really cool too. But don't be afraid. She doesn't tend to block people if they're just being cheeky. Cheeky's fine. Cheeky's cool. Allegra says, we're plenty cheeky, but we try not to be too naughty. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Kim is like our own personal wiki. She hunted down my Tim Tam video so quick last week. I know, that was brilliant, wasn't it? And that's the other thing. Sometimes if there's like a full video or something like that, we'll also add it into the Fiberific fun zone, so that if someone catches the live stream, then you can always, like, if you see something that you liked from the live stream but you can't remember where the link was in the chat, you can actually normally go over to the Fiberific fun zone, and Kim's popped the links up in there as well, so that we can have a look and we don't have to try and trawl through the whole chat. Yeah, she'd have to block herself if Cheeky wasn't allowed. Totally right. She really would. That would be so funny. Cheeky is allowed, because otherwise we'd have to block me, because I'm actually probably the naughtiest person here, I reckon, except for Kim. But yeah, so, you know, we just try to keep out the spammy McSpammers. That's it. Like, and the people who write nasty stuff, and we're really lucky we don't have to. Bye, Joss. I'm going to have to go soon too. I've got 2 minutes on my clock, you guys. What's something you want to know about in 2 minutes? That's sideways. Let's go like that. 2 minutes. So yeah. Joss is off to get some work done. Kim's going to be at the hairdresser next week, so I'm not sure how much spannering she'll be able to do. Oh, who wants to have temporary spanner duties for next week? Game Widow says she may take that as a personal challenge. Oh my gosh. My favourite colour, it's a tough one. I really love blues and greens, but I tend to wear mostly purples because they go with black. But I love blues and greens. Oh, what colour should we do? Oh, hang on. Kim wants to know what colour she should do her hair. She's done so many. Tanya was talking about super chatters. You guys, I wanted to mention, I've got 1 minute. Last week, a couple of you did give super chat. Super chat is when you click that little dollar icon at the chat, and it is actual real life money you get to choose to give to me, basically. It comes off your credit card or your PayPal account, or however you choose to do it. But your comment is highlighted and it sits at the top for a period of time, depending on how much you've popped in. Like, the more you pop in, the longer it stays. That's a YouTube function. But I was actually able to purchase like a whole extra box of coffee for the office just on the super chats. So that made a huge difference. I know it sounds bizarre, but like a $2 super chat is the equivalent for me of over 1,000 views of my videos. And so for you guys to do, Kim says it's credit card, not PayPal. Sorry. But it's like, I know it sounds bizarre, but a $2 super chat from you guys is the equivalent of over 1,000 views for me in the AdSense that I would normally get. So that's if people watch through the ads. And it was like, I was hugely thankful for those of you last week that did pop in super chat. So we'll talk more about that next week. Lots of color suggestions for Kim here. Lots of color suggestions. So it's totally, I use it for coffee and like little office supplies like milk and things like that. Just little things that I have to pay for just to keep my brain functioning. Do a layered flame color effect. Oh, I'm up with that. I love that idea, like oranges and yellows and reds. I'm totally in for the layered, like a balayage flame. Whoa, that sounds great. You guys, I'm going to have to run. You can continue in the chat for a little while and then pop over to the Fiberific Fun Zone on Facebook. I'll double check that everyone is, that any new applications have been accepted. I don't always get notified. So if you've been waiting a while, just nudge me or something. I don't know what you can do. You can find some way to mention that I haven't done what I'm supposed to do. You guys have a fantastic week. I'm going to try and go live on Instagram tomorrow and then try and go live again on Facebook on Facebook Friday in the Fiberific Fun Zone and then Saturday on Instagram. But it's all messed up because of the school holidays. But anyway, have a great time. Get your lifelines in. Get working hard. And those of you that have got your mystery lace clubs, cast them on. Go on. I'll catch you later. Bye.